I think. What's up, Buck fans? What's going on? Happy Sunday to you guys. Welcome to another exciting episode of Bucs Report, the Aftermath 102.9 Game Broad South Radio. One of your hosts, AJ Turnup. Got Slick in here, aka the British guy who's always fly. Of course, just a PSA announcement for the Buck fans. We already are aware of what we're going to be talking about with the Cohen situation, the future of the Bucs. But what the most important thing we want you all to understand is that we are going to say the things that most fans are thinking that the media can't. So, because I've been very critical of the media and I still will be, but remember this, guys, they work for these companies, these organizations, so they're not
And
going
they
to
have relationships, so they don't want to sour those relationships, because if you burn all your bridges, you got no inside information, right?
Yes.
I mean, you don't give a fuck about no
Don't give a shit
inside
about
information.
that unless they come at me with a fat check, maybe. But at this point, no, I'm here to talk shit because one side of the story can't be told. We're going to give you both sides, and we're going to give you the unadulterated truth. No matter if you like it, you can agree, disagree or not. Tell us in the comments. So just want to get that out there because we're here.
Hey guys, anyone want to come on here and discuss it with us? More than welcome. We'll put up the link. You just let us know. We'll let you go.
That's right. So let's get into it. We got to bring this ass clown up again. We got to bring him up again. Of course, now that we got the entire story, I just want to again say this, ladies and gentlemen, we are aware that it's okay to go and get another job. We are aware that you're supposed to do that. If it's your dream job, you go for it. The Buccaneers community is not mad at him taking the job. We are
how he went about it.
How he went about it, and how the NFL and yourselves out there, you cannot talk about honor, integrity, and goodwill and doing the right thing and conducting good business, and you allow shit like that. That contradicts anything. If we are going, because we all here got on Antonio Brown's ass for behaving the way he did. We get on here when players do stupid shit. So that also we should have the same energy for coaches. That's not acceptable. That's inexcusable. And we're not here to blame the child. If anything, we want that child to be healthy. What we don't like is that he hid behind that. That's not a professional way to do it. And most importantly, that's not how a man is supposed to handle it. You didn't even tell the Glazers or Jason Light or Bowles. You had your fucking agent do it for you. So at this point, that's what we're talking about. Go get the job, but do it the right way. Do it the professional way.
And yeah, I don't see. This is the thing I get frustrated about the whole situation is all it took was them turning around and saying, we're going to offer you a contract, but it's predicated on you not interviewing with the Jags. At that point, he turns around and said, look, if the Jags are interested in me, I want to keep my ears open. I want to see what's out there. I don't want Bulky to be the GM there. If they make a move there and ask me to come back, maybe I'll be a bit more interested. But for now, I want to leave my options open. Be that as they may, and wherever the chips fall, I will deal with the consequences. But I want to be a head coach. It's what I want to do. And let's face it, he holds all the cards at this point, right? The Buccaneers were never, ever. They can turn around and go, that was an empty threat saying you can't go and interview with we don't want you to interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not like they're going to go and find somebody else while they wait. They'd have happily waited. They were just trying to put a little bit of pressure on him to try and get him to back out early, right? And I get that. That's absolutely fine. Well, what he could have said is, be that as you may, and that's what you want. I want to continue with this situation. I want to see where this leads. I want to see it all the way through rather than just canceling it right now. So I am interested to come back to the Buccaneers, but I also want to see how this thing with Jacksonville plays out. And I think as fans, obviously organization probably wouldn't be happy because they don't want to wait around. Like no one wants to be in limbo, right? Which is probably why they put a little bit of extra pressure on to say, look, you've got a bit of coaching interview experience. Knock it on the head here, just come back here, and we'll do this great thing that we're always doing. Everyone loves you, we all love you. Let's make this thing. And he said yes verbally, and then he didn't show up for his. Then he didn't show up to sign a contract, and then no one could get hold of him. And then it was reported that he got hold of Bowles and said, "I'm really sorry, but I've been kind of dealing with a sick child." When really he'd fucked off to fucking Jacksonville for a shady interview, and that's the bit that we don't like. You could have said no to the contract. The Buccaneers weren't going to pull no contract. Let's be honest. You're the best offensive coordinator we've had in a long time. You've just turned our run game from zero to fucking hero. Everyone loves you in Tampa. There's no way the Buccaneers, they had no leverage over him realistically, right? They were at his beck and call, basically. He could have turned around and went, no, I'm going to interview with every fucking team in the NFL. And they'll go, fine, fuck it, we'll wait. They'd have to. They'd have no choice because it's either that or look down the OC wow, which is what they've got to do now. And that's sorry, mate. That to me was what went wrong. Using your own child. I'm not saying their child was never ill. Child may be ill, but the difference being is when my kid's ill, me and my wife share the responsibilities.
Right.
So when my wife's got to go to work, I'll deal with my son or my daughter. When I've got to go to work, my wife deals with my child. We share the responsibility, which I would imagine. I don't know Liam Cohen. I don't live in his household, but I imagine his wife's a housewife. Just guessing here. Just guessing here. No distinction. Which means she's used to looking after the sick child who's got an autoimmune disease, which means they're used to it. I'm not saying it wasn't bad. I'm not saying because I don't know. I generally don't know. But what I'm saying is it can't have been that bad if you can fuck off to Jacksonville. It can't be that bad if you can take is it 2 hours from Tampa to Jacksonville?
It's 3.
3 hours. You can take a 3-hour car ride or jump on a private jet, which still takes time because you've got to get to an airport and still get on the fucker, fly over, get out. And that's going to take like an hour, right? At least. It's taking time out of your day. So there's no way that the whole child situation was actually a thing that he couldn't speak to teams, he couldn't put anybody at ease, he couldn't sign a contract because he was dealing with his sick son, but he was able to go to Jacksonville. That the sick son is the fucked up part. He could have just turned around and went, you know what, I want to revisit the Jacksonville thing. I'm really sorry. I don't want to go back on our agreement, but I just can't help but want to check the situation. I'm really sorry. It was the shadiness of that. You ghosted the Buccaneers. You didn't speak to anybody, and then the last minute you fucking threw your sick child down the fucking as your trump card.
As your trump card, and also you didn't have the balls to say anything before the media found out. That's what that was. That's like getting.
Yes, the inside is always going to find out.
They're going to find out, and then
they don't fucking miss nothing. You remember when Tom Brady was getting signed? It was all hush hush, and there was just an inkling of a rumor that he might come to the Buccaneers, and I was like, nah, fucking that's some bullshit. He ain't coming here. We're a dreadful franchise. We're struggling for shit. We got the talent, but we're not known for success. And then the next day, it was like if things really could happen, and then all of a sudden it happened. So these insiders know shit. They don't always get it right 90% of the time. A good chunk of the time, they're pretty on it.
They're pretty on it. And also, it makes you look bad that somebody had to tell you this. Like you said, Slick, for people out there, when you are on a high profile, when you're a high profile person or in a high profile organization, motherfuckers are going to find out. It might not be at that moment, but eventually someone will find out about your shit.
People have friends in different rooms, don't they? You know, someone's got friends in Jacksonville. Someone's got friends here. They all talk. They all want to be part of it. It's
my God, and you just said it. You're in the same fucking state. It's not like this happened in California.
You can't board the Jacksonville Jaguars private jet without anybody knowing, right? That doesn't happen. There's somebody there that knows you boarded that plane.
That's right. And the simple fact that you didn't have the balls again to speak as a man, stand on your word. I wouldn't give a damn if he said what you said. You know what? They fired their GM, Glazers. They've given me a great opportunity here. This is my dream. I understand what I said verbally before, but I'm going to have to respectfully pass on that. I apologize.
I want to see this through.
I want to see this through. I apologize for this inconvenience, and I can
But
understand.
You know what he did? You know what he did? He did that thing where I don't, where a partner cheats on a partner, right? And the other partner finds out, and they turn around and go, "Oh, we just need some space so we can figure shit out." And what that person's really doing is seeing if they can deal with the person they cheated with, if that can materialize into a real relationship.
That's right.
And if it goes south, I've still got my safety net of the partner that I was with, right? So it's like, I just need time to figure shit out.
Yep.
Without turning around. Because if you turn around and go, actually, I'm really interested in this. If I turn around and said, I'm really interested in this chick here, our marriage, can we just put it on hold while I check this shit out? That marriage ain't going to be there when I come back to it, right?
Exactly.
It's not going to be. You've snubbed that girl. She ain't happy no more. You pissed her off.
Nope. And again, like you said, you're going on a limb with the possible that ain't going to be there for the most part. But that's what we're saying for everybody out there. We don't give a shit about that, him taking the job. It's how you conduct business. But I want people.
Were we pissed off with Dave Canales? No. We thought it was. Let's be honest. We all thought it was a foolish move. It's proven so far to be a good move for him, right? But at the time, you could say we were a little salty because we just finally got a bit of, because he wasn't a bad offensive coordinator. Didn't really get the run going, but maybe that could have changed year 2, and he might have bumped it up a little bit. Maybe not Liam Cohen level, but it would have got better, right?
Right.
My point is, we were never angry that he took that job. We're like, okay, it's a bit of a disaster job, but okay, if that's what you want to do, I get I understand that being paid as the highest paid offensive coordinator and having a fucking 5-year contract at $13 million or $10 million a year is very, 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 very different. The guy could get fired, get an OC job within a year, be still earning from the contract with the Jags, fired in his first year, and be an offensive coordinator back at Kentucky or wherever the fuck he came from.
Right.
Kentucky, but that's my point. It's not like he's going to be out of work. He's obviously good at his job.
Right. And that's what we are all saying here, ladies and gentlemen. We just look at it as this. And also, when people are saying that's just a business and they like how he did it, got Buck fans, people out there, I want you to take heed to those people. Those are the type of people that you do not want to conduct business with. They're showing you their true colors. They're showing you that they'll screw you over just to get a bag. That's not integrity. That would literally be like me right now getting an offer from another podcast, and Slick is saying, "Hey, are you gonna stay?" And I'll go, "Yeah." But then they're reaching out to me, and then a few days later they hear about it, and I still don't say anything, and I get another person from that group saying, "Yeah, AJ's not gonna be here anymore." You see how fucked up that is? As men,
yeah, because you think, oh well, me and you, we have a relationship, we talk to each other and stuff. And you're like, why didn't you just tell me? Like, I wasn't fucking giving a shit. Like, good for him, great for him that fucking so and so wants to hire him or what have you. Be like, fucking awesome. And you know what the thing is, when you have this kind of network, so to speak, is other people can vouch for you.
That's right.
Right. That's like, he's burned so many bridges. I don't know if coaches from Tampa want to go to fucking Jacksonville. I don't know. Like, people are talking about Chris Godwin potentially could go to Jacksonville because he's got familiarity. And I'm like, I don't know if Chris Godwin would, because he's there like, oh, that's a fucking dirty move, dude. Like, fuck. We were all excited about you because there are group texts, guys. It's not like fucking Chris Godwin's just sat there going, oh shit, this is crazy. They're all talking in their position group chats and their fucking text messages. Like, fucking dude's fucked us.
He fucked us good. And also, again, we're just talking about the moral man aspect. We'll get to the football shit in a second, ladies and gentlemen. We just want to get the little stuff out of the way.
I got a couple of little sense worth. So obviously, it's been reported by David Shealy that this ain't the first time he's pulled this shit.
No, he has not.
He has been back and forth with loads of fucking teams between Kentucky. I can't remember what the other team was. There was another college team. Holy Cross, was it?
Mm-hmm. Holy Cross.
Between them, he just fucking dipped out there and went, oh, no, the SEC is where I need to be. And then From the SEC, he went to the Rams because the Rams was a great opportunity, and he wanted to play in NFL football, coach in NFL football, and then it was back to fucking Kentucky because the SEC he wanted to lay down roots, and then he was about to lay down roots, and then all of a sudden, Tampa Bay was the ultimate was a great opportunity, and he couldn't pass it up. And then all of a sudden, he was signing the contract for us, the second contract for us, and he was saying one of the reasons he didn't want to leave was his family loved it in Tampa. They wanted to stay here. They were sick of moving around. And that was just some straight bullshit because he decided to go to Jacksonville. Now, I know they're not worlds apart or what have you, but it's still a different school. It's still a different house. It's still a different neighborhood. It's still a different fucking zip code. It's still a fucking different area code. So as far as I'm fucking concerned, the motherfucker was lying out of his fucking teeth.
He was lying out of his teeth. And again, the simple fact that your wife had to go and cover for your sorry ass. As a man, that's a bitch move, bro.
I'm not even denying that his child was ill, but it was clearly manageable by his wife because he was able to go to an interview. But no one's disparaging that his child was ill or not. We're not saying that he faked that shit. Nope. We're just saying he used it as an excuse that he could not sign a contract, but instead jump on an airplane and go to Jacksonville. That's what we're saying. No one's trying to say he's using it as leverage for something. Not at all. No one's saying that his kid was never sick and he's just made it up. I reckon his kid was genuinely sick, but I reckon it was manageable by his wife. Why? Because he went somewhere else. Yeah, if my wife turned around to me and said, "It's looking bleak, baby, I need you to stay home," I'm staying home. I ain't going nowhere. I would have turned around to Jacksonville and went, "Jacksonville, look, my son's ill. I can't do anything. Buccaneers, look, my kid's ill. Just leave me alone. Like, everyone, just leave me the fuck alone. I want to deal with this, and I'll deal with you guys later."
That's right.
Just to let you know I'm talking to them again. Yeah. Cool.
There you go.
You know what I mean? But it was clearly used as an excuse to try and, rectify what he was doing. It's like, the Buccaneers are badgering him while his child is ill. And it didn't work that way because he went somewhere else.
And at the end of the fucking day, we're not stupid. That's the thing that pisses me off about people, Slick. Sometimes, there's a saying that we say, "I wasn't born yesterday." Motherfucker, we're not stupid. We get it. We are very
I got kids myself, so I know the situation. Yeah, right. I know you don't have age. You don't have AJ, but I do, and I know I can tell you right now when my son's been ill at times. My son doesn't have an autoimmune disease. I'm very lucky that both my children are very healthy. But when my son would be sick, me and my wife would do shifts. So the moment she walks through the door, there you go.
There you go. That's
because we're both capable of looking after a child while we're sick, and my wife is capable of looking after my child while I'm not there. Well, that child is sick.
And the biggest thing is what are you doing in Jacksonville? What are you doing out there? And that's the whole thing on a professional level too. You're leaving, as Slick said, an organization in limbo. You are already aware our season's over. We need to know where you're heading. So if you do take that job, we can say thank you for letting us know. Now we can go out and get the interview going and get somebody else in replace so we can have a plan. So we can get somebody to get to the fucking Senior Bowl and evaluate talent to help our fucking team. Not this bullshit. And you put this, you made things a shit show for no reason. Now that we've got the moral shit out the way, let's get to it. Let's get to the football side. The Jacksonville Jaguars are a dusty-ass organization with a dusty-ass owner and a shitty overall organization, and their team is not that good, and I don't see any upside. You chose Trevor Lawrence over Baker Mayfield. You chose these guys, a shaky, shitty offensive line over Tristan Wirfs, who will be the best tackle in the game.
But this is where ego comes into it, AJ. This is, when a guy goes, "I want to be number one overall in the draft," and you think to yourself, that is probably the worst position to be in college sports, to be the number one overall pick, because you have no control of your destiny whatsoever. You are going to the shittest team in the NFL. If you're lucky, you might go to the Colts. When they got Peyton Manning, because they had talent, they were just shit, right?
Right.
That's the best scenario. The best scenario for a first-round pick is mid-round. Do you know why? Because anybody can pick you. You could slide a little bit. you can be picked early a little bit, but you've got options of good teams being able to pick you up because there are teams in the middle who could make the playoffs and they're a quarterback away or they're just one or two pieces away from making that leap.
The
But if
Bucs.
you're a fucking first overall pick, it's very rare that a team that picks first overall goes all the way to the fucking Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen. It takes time to build that. I don't even think this Jaden Daniels. I don't know where he was picked off the top of my head, but is he not first overall?
I don't think Jaden was first overall. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think he might have been. I think he might have been.
But they traded. That was to do with trades, not how bad.
Right.
That's where the fucking shit fat the chips lay because of, and that's the kind of situation you're going in. You want to go into a situation like a Jordan Love, a Patrick Mahomes, where you have a legit team able to take you on because they're like, "Fuck, he fell that far. Fucking, let's go. Let's go get this guy."
He was second overall. It was Caleb Williams who was first overall.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. When you are, that's what we're saying about Cohen, guys. You went to a team with talent that is not. It's a fucking toss up. Brian Thomas, the guys that everybody loves.
Do they have a Mike Evans?
Yes. They don't have.
Does the Jacksonville Jaguars have someone like Mike Evans?
They don't even have a. They don't have a.
Do they have a Chris Godwin?
No.
I would hazard to guess that they don't even have our boy McMillan on their team.
They do not. And Etienne.
That's probably their closest thing that they've got is a McMillan. The closest inkling they've got at the wide receiving core. They've got a solid tight end, if I remember.
He can't stay healthy. That's the point.
He can't stay healthy because he's a lighter tight end.
Yep.
He is basically a scat rough. He's a tough wide receiver.
Exactly. Can't stay healthy. And you might have to take away the tough part because he can't fucking stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. And then the line, enough said, they have a shaky line. Their line is not that good. Overall, their running back, they don't have a Bucky Irvin. They don't even have a Rashad White. They don't have the tools. Let's go to the defensive side. They don't have a Vita Vea. They don't have a
No, they do have one thing we want. They got a good pass rusher.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what they got. Good pass rusher.
That's it. And he could be gone. He could
be gone. Yeah. I mean,
that's my point. But coaches like that, they think in their mind, like you said, Cohen, he has an ego. I can turn this around. No, you can't.
It's hard.
Now trying to do the same shit. And yes, it looks like it's promising. It looks like he's going up. But
for now.
I was about to say for now. Let's be real. That's a fucking guess as well. Because remember,
he's got to have a good draft. He's got to have good free agents and build. You've got to build it. It's a good. I would say it was a good, great first step.
Mm-hmm.
Can you consistently do this now? That's the next step we need to see from you, Dave. Can you put the team together and go to the next step? So I think they won 6 games.
Yeah, but can
you go and win me 8?
Can you win me 8? Can you be competitive? Can you be competitive with your losses and not get blown out? Because let's be real, the second game, the Bucs put belt to ass to the Panthers. That game wasn't close. That was a beatdown. And I bring the Bucs up again too, Slick. You know why? The Bucs looked like they had a promising season after 2016. Remember 9-7? We thought we were building. People were like, "Oh, the Bucs," and myself, I said the Bucs were going to be making moves now. What happened in 2017? We went ass backwards. We went backwards. And that can happen for the Panthers as well. But the whole point is for the Jaguars, you had Baker Mayfield. You see the talent that he has. Trevor Lawrence got 2 coaches fired. We can say what you want to say about Urban as a person.
Hey, he's still technically Baker got people hired. That's all I'm saying. He got 2 guys hired on his watch.
Yep.
Now I'm not saying it's all Baker, but Baker Mayfield is a head coach maker. At this point, he's made 2 head coaches.
He's got 2 coaches hired. That's right. What the fuck is Trevor?
But let's have a quick. I want to glance at this team's fucking roster. Their best fucking running back is Kalen Robinson, Travis Etienne. Best wide receiver is a slot wide receiver, Gabe Davis. The rest is just I've never heard of him. Evan Ingram, good tight end if he stays healthy. Offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland. The rest I don't really know by name. Eric Armstead, meh, not too bad, not great. I'm just not seeing anything here from a team that's going to shout at you and really make big name fucking move, like big moves from a defensive standpoint.
No.
They're clearly not poor, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done to this roster. And I don't think it can just be done in the draft or in just free agency. It's going to take years to clean this up.
It's going to take years to clean up, and they're not even good enough to make a run in their own division. They're not beating the Texans.
Their division's getting harder and harder every year.
Yep,
the Texans are the standard. Yep. The Colts, we all thought Richardson was going to be that guy because he started off great his rookie year and then just fizzled out this year. So we don't know what's going on there. Who's the last team in their division?
Titans.
The Titans.
That's the only.
It's a fucking toss of what's going to happen.
Right.
Look, their best bet is to try and grab a wild card spot, which in the AFC is not as simple.
No,
there's a lot of mid teams that can get winning seasons.
Like exactly. But that's our point, and that's why we're trying to say, Cohen. And another thing is, it's called fucking patience. I'm going to give you a prime example, Slick. Ben Johnson. He stayed another year, and he built his resume to where it was absolute
undeniable that he was a good coach. And guess what? They have been picked clean of coaches.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Glenn is
people are looking at that. We're looking at what their quarterbacks coach right now.
Yep.
There you go. They're going to lose a lot of good coaches. That's the problem. That when you become a good team, people start looking at your coaches and go, "This guy can do something." Especially when you've done something with nothing, and then people didn't rate Baker to begin with. He's a fucking head coach maker.
He's a head coach maker, and also it circles back.
Media, I tell you what, media bitching about us actually does him favors because it makes him look even better. Because if everyone was saying, "Oh, the Buccaneers are stacked, they'll probably win the division again," even though they've changed offensive coordinators, doesn't matter how good he is. Everyone's like, "Well, we kind of expected this." The fact that we broke all the rules and still did it. This is why Dave Canales got hired, which is why Liam Cohen's got hired. Is because we broke the rules. The NFL media went, the Buccaneers will not win again. It will be the Saints, and next year it will be the fucking Falcons. And the Buccaneers turn around and went, fuck that. We're flipping the bird and we're flipping the Saints. Fuck them all.
Exactly. And now it's, oh, wow. And again, same thing. The Bucs in the 2002 winning season. Mike Tomlins of the world. They took that staff and said, "Oh, these guys are good. Let's get them out here and see what happens."
Mm-hmm.
That's why, Cohen, if you were fucking patient, another year under
it will come, and you might get a better franchise.
You might get a better team.
Who's to say that a team will have a coach that retires on a great team? I'm not saying the Kansas City Chiefs, but let's go down that route. Let's say the Kansas City Chiefs take one more slap at it. Fucking Ed Reed turns around and goes, "You know what? I'm done." That's a coaching role that you were like. But if you've had the success 2 years in a row and your team made the playoffs and had a deep playoff run each time, it's undeniable that people are going to look at you and go, "Actually, our coach is retired, but we could go get this guy. This is the real fucking deal."
I love it because I say this. Bucs, let's say this in this scenario. If he would have stayed, Godwin's healthy, re-signs, they stay healthy through the entire season. Offense gets better.
Defense gets better.
The defense gets better.
Bowles gains a pair of nuts.
Yep. And we win a fucking Super Bowl. And like you said, in that scenario, if Andy Reid,
he could have pretty much any team that wanted him. Like any team, he'd have the selection. Right now, the only team that wanted him was Jacksonville. He didn't interview for anybody else. The Ben Johnsons of the world, I think he interviewed somewhere else. Aaron Glenn interviewed at the Jacksonville. Here's one little nugget for the Jacksonville fans. I know they don't watch this, but fuck it, I'm going to put it out there. Technically, they didn't fulfill the Rooney Rule. They only interviewed one minority head coach for the head coaching role, and that was Aaron Glenn. They were supposed to interview Robert Saleh, never did. They gave the job to Cohen. So it would be interesting to see if anything shakes out of that. And I know people turn around and say the Rooney Rule is stupid, but it exists nonetheless. It exists because there was a reason for it a while ago. Now we can make an argument that it doesn't need to exist. I don't know because it's not my world. Smarter people and more. I'm trying to think of the best turn of phrase to put this without sounding bad. people with a bit different complexion to me should have a better, an honest say on that because I don't know. I
Well,
don't know, and I'm not
well,
going to pretend I do.
I'll
But I
say
see a
this.
lot of people saying it's a stupid rule, and I'm like, but it existed for a reason. It was
And
because
it's slick. That's all you got to do right there. You can stop them in their tracks and say it exists for a reason because it fucking happened. There's history and documents that shows that the people of color did not get these opportunities. So for us in the States, shut the fuck up because look at what's going on right now in our country. Enough said right there. I don't do politics.
no, I agree. All I'm saying is I don't know enough to have a valid opinion on it. But it existed for a reason because this shit was happening. Because we were seeing this shit happen, and we were seeing African American minorities, whatever you want to call them, coaches not getting the opportunity or not being allowed to stick around because teams were so impatient. But they'd show infinite patience. It was the Jets coach that like fucking was so fucking awful, but he kept on getting hired. Adam Gase.
Yes.
He went Dolphins, he went here, he went there, all as head coach. And Brian Flores is like, I'm just trying to keep a fucking job, but I won't tank.
And some people said that about Josh McDaniel. It's like, why? Because you and Brady dapped up so many times. What did you do when you were with the Broncos? Not a damn thing. And that's the whole point.
But that's what offensive coordinator bullshit. It's like people seem to, and I don't. Sometimes it's when you're. I suppose when it comes to the hiring process, general managers are usually white, owners are usually white. So they sit there and they want somebody who quacks like them, somebody who walks like them, somebody who dresses like them. And I think that's sometimes why they go, oh, this guy's the cut of our jib, the meets our expectations of what we want from our
shares our views and our views and our mindsets. And exactly. And you got to.
That's not hiring the best person. That's hiring someone you like. That's a very different
hiring
thing.
Familiarity instead of hiring what it is. So we are very aware. 95% of the owners are not people of color. So we know this, but 80% of the league is people of color. Make it make sense. We know better. But
so head coaches are going to get through to more players if they are an ethnic minority, right?
But yeah, and let's get just to the talent level. Trevor Lawrence ain't got it. I don't think, in my opinion, Slick, I've seen enough to go. He's an average
great college player. Average, mid, maybe below mid.
Right, and again, that's the problem.
He's obviously talented enough to play the position,
but
because you know what I mean. I'm not going to take away from anybody. He's drafted first overall. He's blah blah blah. All these things. He's won games, so he's clearly not terrible. But the same thing is, so have all the quarterbacks. Like James Winston's done that. All these other people have done that. He was very lucky. He had a very good year on his contract, or a better year, better year on his contract year. And it's one of those things where you're a quarterback, it's what do you do? Like, it's so easy to say, oh, well, I'll just move on. Like, remember when Andy Dalton used to be at the Cincinnati Bengals and he was up for contract and he had that year where they went undefeated for like half a season?
Yep.
And they fizzled out, and then they got to the playoffs, and then they lost because he doesn't play great. The call was that he doesn't play well in the lights. Whatever you make of that, that's fine. But my point was, at some point, you got to make a decision and look at your quarterback going, we could either start from scratch, which means drafting somebody or finding another free agent, which ain't easy because guess what? Franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees, and they don't just hang around for you to go and pick.
Well, let's look at these stats, Slick. You want to know what his best season is? His best 2022, 4,113 yards, 25 touchdowns, eight picks. Keyword. That's good, but that ain't.
Jake Daniels has got better stats than that, right?
Yeah, he has 20. Well, no, he had 20.
He doesn't have the yards, but he has the interceptions are slightly higher, but I think the touchdowns are higher as well.
No, I think he had 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So it kind of like evens out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's hit. So Trevor Lawrence's best year is Daniels' rookie year.
Right. And then in 2023, 21 touchdowns, but 14 picks, 4,016 yards. And then this year he couldn't
not terrible, but you're thinking shit, we're going down.
I don't know. Yeah, 21 and 14.
I know, but it's more. I get you.
Yeah, because
Give me the following year. Give me this year. What happened this year?
Oh, he won. He wasn't healthy enough. He had 2,045 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 picks. So
That's
it
even
showed.
worse.
Yeah, let's look at it this way. He's getting worse and worse. If we're looking
Yeah,
at
you're getting a decrease. You get a decrease on value. He's getting paid more money.
and his rookie year, he had 3,641 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 17 picks.
Yeah, he's turning over.
No, but again, this is what we're trying to explain to people. Because of course you got.
But it's okay. But he didn't have the wide receivers that the Buccaneers have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well then you go and draft somebody or go and pay somebody because there are guys out there.
Right, and remember, for Jacksonville fans now, Coleman is going to be the guy to right the ship. Well, if he's going to right the ship, that shouldn't be a problem, right? That shouldn't be a problem. You're supposed to handle your business.
How's he going to know? And here's an interesting question for you. They got rid of the general manager. Whether he's good or bad, I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah,
that's for Jacksonville fans to talk amongst themselves because I'm not that kind of peasant. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that kind of peasant. All I'm saying is now he gets to pick or at least work with the ownership to pick the next general manager. The fuck does he know about building an NFL team? He's been on a college roster for most of his career. He then was a offensive coordinator that didn't call plays for the Rams for a year. So what does he know about building a roster? He doesn't. So how does he know what the right if Spytek was still available, I get it. Totally get it. Like, oh, he could snag Spytek and go to Jacksonville, bring Spytek with him. I can see what's percolating here. I can see the thought process. He's already worked with this guy, knows how it works. He knows he can draft. He knows his shit. He knows he can work the contracts. Let's go, baby. That makes full sense. The fact that he's going to pick somebody else, but his NFL experience is so limited. He's never built a roster in his career. He and I don't know, was he with the Rams for a whole season or was it a part of the season?
I think it was a whole season, and then he went back to Kentucky.
So he got a little taste of what building a roster was, depending on what time he just joined the team. Because if he joined late, then a lot of the work's already been done because it starts getting done now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if it starts getting done now, he might not get hired till March or whatever. I'll have to look at the timeline on it. But what I'm trying to say is a lot of the season that he joined them, all the scouts already done their work.
Right.
He had looked at nothing at that point.
Nothing.
So his involvement in building the roster was benign.
That's all we're trying to say. We're looking at it like this, guys. From a professional football talent-wise, he has a lot going against him, and it's not looking to be in his favor. That's what we're trying to say. Yes, Jacksonville, you can have him. Do you even know that? First things, Slick, what's the fucking direction the Jacksonville wants to go? What is their identity? Are you going to be an offensive team, a defensive team?
I mean, it has to be an offensive team because he's got an offensive coordinator background.
Well, so either that, but like you said, how are you going to turn this run game around? Are you going to draft the right pieces? Remember, like you said, who is their GM?
Never built a roster.
Right, never built a roster. Is your GM going to have experience? Remember, Jason Light was an offensive line person, and he's played the game, and he knows his shit, and he knows how to pick people. What are you going to do with that situation?
Like I said, if he had John Spytek to go with him, I completely see it. I can completely understand it because you've got two guys who've been in the same room together, who work together, and da-da-da-da. It all makes sense. Picking somebody, what if they go and pick an assistant GM that's at a different ball club? They've never collaborated, and you're getting a completely different mindset that you're used to working with, but you like the way they interview. There's so many things that can go wrong for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you know what? I don't give a fuck. Fuck 'em. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit anymore. I used to have a little bit of softness for our Jacksonville cousins, but fuck those motherfuckers.
No, fuck Jacksonville.
Their fans are just being fans, but I don't give a fuck anymore.
Cohen, I wish you nothing but losing seasons. I actually hope you get fired within your second year, so then you have to be a wanderer and a stranger, and you get blackballed. Because again, Slick, like you said, back to the integrity part, people are going to remember this shit. They're going to go, wow, You're a snake. Why would I trust you? And
It's going to be hard to get the next job, right? He's gonna have to. I think he'd have to go back to college.
yes, he would have to go back, but maybe
I don't
even
think.
with
I don't
that,
think the league will touch it. I don't think the league will touch him.
no, but even with college, college, it's too many young kids there. Why would I want you to still put a false notion of belief
I
in
mean,
my
but you can
coach?
always find a team like, let's say, just spitball here, USF. They'd
Oh,
love
maybe.
to have someone like Liam Cohen lead the charge because they can't get that caliber of coach,
Right,
right?
maybe.
It's going to be teams like that. It's not going to be fucking USC. It's not going to be Oregon. It's not
Right,
going to be
right.
fucking Michigan. It's going to
No,
be these other teams that are like,
USF might be a step, but it might not be. Hell, he might have to go to Coastal Carolina.
there you go, there you go.
Take his ass there. But either way,
Lifetime opportunities as a Jacksonville head coach. Fuck me. Go and ask the Jacksonville head coaches how much of a lifetime opportunity it was after the fact.
exactly. And I just want to go back to what you were saying about
Let's fucking hire Doug Pederson so he can fucking run the fucking ball down his fucking throat. We always seem to play them in preseason. We play them in preseason.
If I'm the Bucs, I would give anything. Oh, we're definitely playing preseason. We are definitely.
We usually do.
I know we do. That's why I'm like, oh, we're playing preseason. And if I'm the new Bucs coordinator, I'm putting everything I can on these bitches. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna need y'all to put up as many points on these bastards as you can. Fuck these guys. Fuck them. Fuck them. That's how I feel. Oh man,
I agree.
But I also want to just run this by you because this is a nice little theory, and this all it is, Slick, is a theory. Because one thing that you know what I'm gonna do that I want Buck fans not to lose sight of, Slick. This does not fucking take Bowles off the shit list yet. Because you got a lot of bowl gulpers out there, Slick, like, well, see, this is going to unify the Bucs organization now because he's a man of integrity. We've never questioned Bowles' integrity.
No one's ever questioned that.
We just questioned if he's got a sack down there. Pause. If he's got that fire. Because here's the thing, Slick. You know one thing I've seen? You know what I've seen that's a history in the pattern of the NFL, brother Slick? I usually see usually defensive coaches cannot keep an offensive coordinator for whatever reason. There might be something that is happening.
It's becoming an offensive league, and if you have success with an offensive coordinator, 2 years is probably a good sign.
Let's look at it like this, though, Slick. Sometimes, as defensive-minded as Belichick was, he still knew when to be aggressive at the right time. What if Canales?
I think that I don't even. The interesting thing about Bill Belichick, I know his history is defense, right? That's where he came from. He was a defensive coordinator, all these things, right? But his knowledge of the game kind of just turned him into just a football nerd.
Oh, right. But
yeah, I mean, he was just football. In the end, by year 5 with the Patriots, he was
the
football.
guy.
He wasn't defensive minded, offensive minded. He was just football.
I get you. I just say defensive because that's
where he came from.
But hear me out. What if, again, and this is on my Pelican Brief. If you ever seen that movie, you'll understand the reference. It's like a big ass guess, a conspiracy thing. I say this. What if there were things that were happening behind the scenes that you and I will never be privy to, Slick? What if Canales and Cohen, and this still doesn't excuse Cohen's bitch ass, but what if both coaches saw the bigger picture and go, damn, you know what? Bowles is never going to really do enough as an aggressive person to put this team over the hump. And I feel like I can lead these guys into victory if we take these risks. But you know how Bowles can be. No, let's just take the 3 points, guys. I understand, I'm aware, but we got to get some points at least. And they're like, coach, we need to get these fucking 7 points because did you not see the Eagles and Commanders game, Slick? They were fucking aggressive. That was the point. Maybe our 2 coordinators said, fuck this. I'd rather take my chances somewhere else than sit here with this guy and we just settle for mediocrity. Now, that's just a stretch. The reason why I say that, Slick, is because at the end of the fucking day, no matter who is the coordinator, if our head coach, Bowles, if you don't understand now, if you look at these past playoff teams this game after us, everybody went for it, Slick. Everybody Put everything on the
You got to put it on the line.
line.
You got to, I agree. I think that's something he's got to evolve and overcome because he has to. I think he is. You got to remember that this new school of coaches
Yes.
are more aggressive, and he needs to evolve with it and go, okay, this whole like taking the points was something you did that 5 years ago. No one's yelling at you.
Mm-hmm.
No one's yelling at you for taking your 3 points when you got your 3 points. I'm more about if I've got a kicker, a competent kicker that can kick in that area, give me the points. I'll just chip and I'll chip and I'll chip and I'll chip and I'll slowly
Right.
demoralize this team. But when you got a team you're versing that will take risks,
Yes.
then you've got to go, okay, we're going to up the ante and we're going to take our risks when we need to.
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes.
I saw that one touchdown that they got with the quarterback sneak, and you saw Washington, they were jumping the line, and I was like, you know what? I don't even blame them for doing it because if they time it right, it'll be fucking beautiful. They didn't time it right, however, and that was the problem. But all they were giving up was a quarter of an inch or a half an inch or an inch, and it's like, why not? Why not fucking do that? I never heard that they could award a score based on too many penalties. Because it's never happened. I've never been sat watching a game and went, wow, it's the third penalty they've committed on a fucking encroachment.
Yes.
And the balls at the fucking one, and it's been getting closer like half the distance to go every single fucking time. And they've gone, if you do this again, we're just going to award the score.
You know what,
I never heard that.
Slick, I don't mind that rule, and here's why. You can also tell the frustration on the Commanders because they knew they was about to lose this fucking game. And sometimes, and they need to stop. But sometimes some players can be petty and try to do certain shit that could put the other team, a player, at risk. Because I'll tell you what, Slick, if you and I are coaches or we was playing on the field and you the quarterback, and I see a motherfucker keep jumping over, knowing that the play hasn't even been set yet, you know what I'm gonna do as to back you up as my boy? I'm gonna tell that motherfucking guy, leap your ass in that air again, and I promise you, I'm gonna throw myself in the air with you at the same time. I'm gonna fuck you up, or I'm gonna wait for you to come down, snatch your ass, and throw you into the ground. Don't do it again. That's why the refs, they're trying to protect these players because what Louisville was doing.
Oh yeah. It was stupid shit, but I don't blame him for doing it because it was like there was.
Oh yeah, no, I don't either.
It was pure, no risk, and if you pull it off, it's only reward because you're probably going to give up the touchdown anyway. So if you can time it right and you do tackle him before, you're gaining like 3 yards on the back of it. So the next one's going to be they can't run that shit anymore. They've got to come to a different play. So if it worked, it worked, and that's why they were like, fuck it. But I'd never watched football where that was an actual thing where they turned around and went, well, the next penalty will be an automatic score. And I was like, fuck, I've never seen this before.
Me neither. But back to this game, Slick. We were talking about it again. Aggression is the key, but also the Eagles did something where Bowles. I hope Bowles was taking notes. You know, Bowles, you're never gonna win, and you're never gonna win games like this, Slick, doing this shit. That's not gonna happen anymore. In this era of football, you can't do that. This is
every team does it, but I think it's the situational part that I don't like. I don't have a problem with this coverage per se. I don't like the situational side of it. Like it was dumb to call it at that point in time. It was dumb to call something like that in the end zone, where like you've got the other one if you can find it.
Yes.
In the playoff game, it was dumb to do those things, and that's where I turn around and go, okay, Bowles, I get that you like this kind of off-esque coverage. Yes. I'm not a fan of it, but he clearly believes it works. It really doesn't because it's used too much. I think in the right situation, used properly, it could be lethal. But I think
but situational. That's where
if that's a 4th down and 10.
Yes.
Yeah, put your corners on the 8. Fuck it.
Right. But that's the whole point. Situational is what pisses me off with Bowles. If you look at it, I figured this.
Hey, Louis, come and join us. Just fucking join us, brother.
I figured the offense of the Commanders out very soon. And this is why it frustrated the fuck out of me with the Bucs. This is how the Commanders' offense worked. They just tried to beat you with the clock because they're not a fast scoring team, as we know. So for them, even if
they bled it out,
they bleed you out. But you know what the Eagles did? This literally sums up the difference between the Bucs and the Eagles and what they did in their philosophy. When Saquon came out and ran that fucking ball and scored that touchdown on that one play, I told people this, Slick. I said, Eagles are going to win it because they know how to score at will, and they are eventually going to stifle the Commanders. Let's be real. If for people out there, Jaden, the anointed one in the media's eyes, did not play good football. And I don't want to hear about the turnovers because the Eagles, Slick, you would have been very proud as a defensive coach. When they were tackling, they were stripping that fucking ball. They were playing. And you want to know why they could do that, Slick? They weren't too far off the fucking players. It's hard to make those kind of plays. For you bold glazers out there, Slick, you know this. If you're way back here, you see how far back I am? You can't even see my face no more, Slick. If I got to run at full speed, and mind you, this guy's running too, it's going to be hard for me to do this because if I do it the wrong way, I'm going to get fucked up. But you know, it's a little different.
You momentum.
But when you're 3 yards off of someone, you can do it. One of the best strip fumbles of this night, Slick, was when Eckler got up. Eckler got up, but he didn't secure the ball. The linebacker, he saw that, but you know why? He was much closer. He was able to knock it out of his hand. Now, a Bowles mentality, somebody would have been 10 yards off the line, and then they would have just made a tackle. That is the entire point that we are trying to say, guys. You have to be aggressive. And if you get beat being aggressive, most football fans will not get mad at you about that. It's when you go all out, that is the most important thing. What we don't like is when there's a bunch of fucking ifs. Like, I have to talk about ifs for this Bucs team, and that's what pisses me off. That's what makes me mad. All right.
Yeah, man.
That's what makes me mad, Slick, is that the Bucs, it was too many ifs. You know why? Because we had a coach that was too reserved. I don't mind going all out. If the Bucs defense literally, hell, Slick, if the Bucs played a little more aggressive defense just for 5 yards, that kicker misses the field goal. Because he barely bumped that shit in. Imagine if we would have stopped them just 5 yards back and he had to kick 5 yards. He misses that field goal, and more than likely the Bucs get the ball and we win the game. That's what it's all about. We weren't aggressive. I don't think people understand, Slick, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the only team in the playoffs this season that didn't go for a fourth down. That's a problem. That's a problem. Everybody else went for it on fourth down, and they were successful. That's a problem. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm trying to get people to understand, Brother Slick, because, again, despite this Cohen situation, Bowles is not left off the hook. He is still the commander-in-chief.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's all I want people to get, because I think a lot of people out there are still, yes, is Cohen a piece of shit? Yes, he is. But, Slick, we got to move on now. We already know. Fuck Cohen. But what is this? We got to move on, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we can't afford to cry. We have to move on and find somebody else and go, okay, guys, who is going to be our coordinator? Because did you see some of the people that they've been hiring? I like the direction we're going when it comes to interviewing these OCs.
Yeah, I mean, we got to find something fresh. We got to find something new. You can always go down the route of older guys as well. Like I said, I don't mind fucking Doug Peterson just to put that fucking, but that's more of a revenge thing.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, I like it too, and I think what we can do. So if I'm the Bucs, try to find somebody that is just, at the end of the day, we need to find an aggressive coordinator. That's all. I think no matter what, as long as we have someone who's on offense that has an aggressive mindset, the Bucs will be just fine.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But we got Louis in the house. What's going on, Louis?
What's going on, guys? I'm enjoying playoff Sunday. Honestly, I don't give a fuck who wins, even with the Chiefs and Bills. But I was just actually talking to my buddies from around the NFL. I was like, imagine a Bills-Eagles tailgate. What would that be like? On one hand, you have obnoxious fans. And then on the other hand, you
You'd
have
have the
people
Philly fans putting the Bills fans
through
willingly through
tables. That's
tables.
what I'm saying. Like I'm just like
They'd be like,
I'm kind
please
of
put me
looking
through a
forward to like
table.
the. That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of looking forward to like the Bills and the Philly fans slamming each other through tables and shit like that. I think that'd be fucking hilarious. But I would probably pull for the Bills. I'm not gonna lie. I can't stand the fucking Eagles.
No one
I
needs to do a three-peat. Let's knock that shit down, yeah?
Yeah, like
They
I'm
do a
pulling for the
three-peat.
Bills, man. I
A
really
three.
am. I'm pulling for the Bills. I don't want to see a three-peat from the Chiefs. Uh, but yeah, man. I mean, real quickly, wh- where do you guys see the Buccaneers going as far as offensive coordinator? Where do you guys want to see this team go?
Someone with aggression, someone with the mindset of we're gonna take this, even if it's a 4th and 3, we're going for it because we have the confidence and we can utilize our players. Uh, that's all we need,
Do you
no
have
matter
anybody in
what.
mind?
I like the guy that we interviewed from the Rams. I like his philosophy. I let his name escapes me. I'm about to look it up right now. When I think his name is Nate Shieldhouse. He
Yeah,
was
the dude
the
looks like a Josh Freeman. His name
yeah.
was like a Josh Freeman.
Yes, I like the fact that he is under he comes from the McVay tree, so I think that the offense could do something there. And hell, for all we know, what I want to see with this offense is that they get better play calls on short in inches type of plays. So we can't be hesitant at that point. We got to know what we're gonna do and stick with it. So as long as we get an aggressive minded OC, I think the Bucs offense is gonna be just fine. Hell, we've done it with 4 different OCs already. So the talent isn't the problem. It's just we got to stay consistent with the scheme. So hopefully that will be the mark. Something that I hope Bowles looks at and go, hey, people have different schemes, but the one thing that they have in common, Slick, they're all aggressive. They are a lot more aggressive than Bowles. So Bowles, you're not let off the hook with this. At this point, it's still in you. What the hell are you gonna do? So I expect you, because no more bitching about he got the money now, Slick. You can go now. Are you going to use it the right way and be aggressive and go get Crosby or someone of that caliber? And then in the draft, are you going to get the right kind of people? Because that's the
I,
whole
I mean, I,
point.
I don't think any of us worry about the draft. I think it's all about when it comes to pass rushes, you need to go early in the draft. I think that's always been the problem. So either the Buccaneers trade up because there's a guy there that they think they can go get, like we did with Tristan Wirfs. We only traded up a couple of spots. I
Yeah.
don't think at 19 we're going to find an elite pass rusher. I'm not saying it's impossible because it does happen, but
Yeah.
it's unlikely.
Well,
But
I
this is
agree.
where you start mortgaging picks and you go,
yeah.
well, we're not going to pick anybody that's going to be lights out for us as a pass rusher with our first round pick. And it's
Yeah.
probably the biggest need on this team. So I would say let's more leverage that with another first round pick and go get somebody, maybe something else as well, just to sweeten the deal. I mean, fucking Trey Palmer in there for fucking better measure and just get that fucker out of our fucking thing. I think he's a locker room cancer. I just think the
Yeah.
good thing about him is he's a nobody.
Pissed
A
off Trey,
nobody
right?
locker room cancer means nothing. A guy who's elite that's a locker room cancer is a problem.
Coach Slick, I'm just asking you, like, who would you like who would you like to see them go after as far as offensive coordinator? Because, in my opinion, because I kind of feel like an asshole because like for years, and you guys have seen me come on the show with the Aftermath show. Shout out to you guys. You guys been nothing but
Appreciate that,
great to
man.
me. Um, I've been vouching for this dude, Liam Cohen, and it just kind of upsets me the way he did shit, but I kind of like chuckle about it the way he did it because I'm like, wow, that's such a Northeast thing to do. Warwick, Rhode Island is about 20 minutes away from me, but I'm just curious, like, who would you? Is there
I mean,
anybody in?
I'm not against the Rams guy that they were interested, but Marcus Brady's a name that's popped into my
I
head.
like, yeah, I like Brady.
Slowick
Yeah,
is a pretty decent. It all comes down to, does their scheme fit what you want to do?
hmm
The problem I have with Bowles is I don't want him to go for a guy who's more like him. And I felt like Canales was very down his street,
yes,
whereas I think Liam Cohen,
was
they
yeah,
hired Liam Cohen based off the past experience with their quarterback, which they really realized was going to be a longer term option. There's
Yeah.
not really many coaches in the NFL that are ready for an OC position that have coached this gentleman. So it kind of puts you down in a situation where, like, well, where do I go from here? So do you go down? And I'm just worried that he picks a happy-go-lucky coach. Like as AJ said, we need someone with a bit more nuts, someone a bit more aggressive, someone who'll turn around and coach. I got this on fourth down. Just trust me. Let me go for it on fourth down. I got this. And if I don't, we'll have a discussion about it on Monday morning. That's what I
Yes.
want from my coach. I want someone who's going, coach, if we want to win this game, look at how the game's being played on offense right now. We need to take it. We can go get it. Trust me. But if Bowles, I don't know how much of Bowles has in the decision process, but if he's only picking guys who are like, yeah, we'll just play smack mouth football and run it up the gut and see what we get and kick field goals, which is a very backwards philosophy. It probably
Dave
would
Canales
win
thing to do.
20 years ago.
Yeah. For me, I honestly, the way I like, so I look at this offense, right? And we look at this offense. I think all three of us can agree. Um, this is such an underrated offense as far as Bucky, Sean Tucker, Rashad White, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and the whole offensive line. And look at the group of tight ends that we have. We have Cup, we have Kate Otten, and Durham Payne. I think the offense is pretty much set, in my opinion, and I keep saying this. And like
I agree.
I said in the beginning of the season, what did I say? I said the offense is going to carry the defense until they get it together, and I still feel strongly about that. With this
We just didn't get it
offense,
together.
yeah, I feel like with this offense, it's plug and play. Um, I think what Bowles needs to do is find the right guy to fit this offense. But it's also, in my opinion, plug and play because we have one of the most talented offenses in the NFL. I think this is a future offensive coordinator's wet dream to come down to Tampa Bay and have the weapons that they have. And we've seen it with Dave Canales. What happened last year with Dave Canales? We lost Dave Canales, and what happened? Everybody was freaking out. Oh fuck, we lost Dave Canales. We lost Dave Canales. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I seen all the memes with Baker Mayfield. Fuck. Oh, we lost Dave Canales. We brought in Liam Cohen. What makes this year any different? Because I see a lot of people, like they
I
hate
think
on Liam.
you can't do it consistently every year. Just keep plugging and playing
Yeah,
another guy, another
coach,
scheme, and another
but
this.
all due respect though, look at the offense. We
I,
have
I get, I get that, but you are eventually going to hit a bad coach that can't get the same results. You can't do it. You can't do it year in year out and expect playoff level
I don't
football or
think
deep playoff runs.
I don't think this year is that year though yet. I think maybe like, you know, who
You'll run
I
out of time, dude. I would hazard a guess to say Mike's probably going to retire in 3 years. So your
yeah,
clock is
absolutely.
ticking. We can't
That's
afford
why.
to have a guy who's going to. We need someone who's going to sit down, stay with us, and we need to kind of keep guys. That's the thing.
But
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. Like what I was saying before, that's the problem. When you have like going back to the whole Belichick thing, the reason why the Patriots were so bad, and I've kept a close eye on the Patriots. My father's not with us anymore.
Mm.
I followed the Patriots because of my dad, you know what I'm saying? And still to this day, I still follow the Patriots. I like to kind of keep a loop because in all reality, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And if I could get a gig doing something over there, that doesn't mean I'm not a fan of the Patriots. It's just I love the game of football. The problem with the Patriots was Bill Belichick. At the end of the day, Bill Belichick was the GM, was the coach. We see a big problem. What's going on in Dallas right now with the Cowboys? The Cowboys don't have any consistency. Why? Who is the biggest problem there right now?
Their owner,
Exactly. Because their owner is what? What is he? What does he do
dumb.
there?
He's dumb.
Controlling,
Dumb, controlling. He knows everybody's dick size. He knows fucking all this other bullshit. He's the
but he
GM.
doesn't know
He's
fucking
this.
football.
Yeah, he don't know football. And that was the problem with Belichick. I mean, Belichick doesn't know everybody's dick size. He was leaving fucking girls' houses from Cape or whatever the fuck he was on a ring camera. But what I'm saying was, when you have all that control, you kind of lose control. So that's why the Patriots were bad. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the Tar Heels and stuff like that. I'm actually excited to see what Belichick's going to do there. But what I'm saying is this: I think Jason Light and Bowles have an idea who they want as the offensive coordinator. I think they know what we need, and I think the biggest need here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is defense. Like, in all reality, the defense is missing key positions. You know, looking at what we just saw with the Eagles and the Commanders, I even went on around the NFL. Shout out to my co-host Dino. He's the biggest Commanders fan there is. But I told him, I said, I wanna root for the Commanders. I do. But I think this Cinderella story is gonna end because I think you guys are gonna run into a buzzsaw with the Eagles. Like, it's unfortunate. Like, it's gonna
They've
end.
got they had their number. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
They had their number.
So the thing that's missing with the Buccaneers that the Eagles have is they have guys I know when to step up on defense to make certain plays. And we saw it like when what's his face was returning a kickoff. He fumbled the football. That's crucial. You fumble the football at the 30-yard line. That's a fucking death sentence. That's
Yep.
automatic points for a team like the Eagles.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think the Buccaneers need that style of mentality. So when it goes back to they need to pick the right guys on offense. And I will say this about Bowles. He needs to go out and he needs to go find somebody that can run that defense. Because in all reality, the reason why Bruce Arians, and I say Bruce Arians and I say Coach Bowles, is because it's two different things. Like when I say Bruce Arians, you can even hear Tom Brady saying it. Tom Brady would never refer to Bruce Arians as Coach Arians. He would always say BA. BA was the head coach, but he had Byron Leftwich running that offense. He had Todd Bowles running the defense, and he would just kind of like be in the headphones and like, all right, no, we're not doing that. Reconsider that timeout. I think that's what Todd Bowles needs, and I think there's too much on his plate.
I don't think he's going to relinquish play calling to anybody.
That's the problem right there, Louis. The man came out and said, you know, well, I don't see me changing my staff. This is what got us to the playoffs within 5 straight years. So with that mentality, that is hard for someone like Slick said to relinquish. And Slick, I've dealt with coaches that way, where they in their minds, it's their way.
It's a control factor, though, isn't it? It's like you feel like you're in more control when you play cool. You have less control when you don't play cool. That's all it comes down to. But it's not wrong. I know there's a lot of people hoping that he goes and finds himself a defensive coordinator that he can just do the other part of the game, right? Which is just manage. But I don't think that's going to happen.
He needs a coordinator where they say, Bowles, that's fucking idiotic for putting Vita Vea in coverage. Bowles, we don't want to see Canty in coverage. Bowles, we hired them to get after the fucking quarterback. Thank you, Bowles, but no thanks. Well, this doesn't look, well, you don't think it'll catch him off guard, Bowles? No, it's not going to catch him.
If it worked once, it doesn't mean it's going to work again and again and again, right?
Exactly, Bowles.
But I think the one thing you would say about this Buccaneer team this year is, as we're getting better, every year we've been staying on this trajectory of being a team that can win the division, that has a quarterback that can do it, that has talent around that quarterback, now has that running game. So this is the one thing we were missing last year. We didn't have the running game. Now we got the running game. We got the passing game with it. I think this is looking like a destination that young or even established coordinators are going, I could become a head coach in a few years, or I could get back into being a head coach. So if you're a head coach that's come away, like a Doug Pederson or a Mike McCarthy, I'm not saying these are the people you should pick. I'm just saying I'm throwing names in a hat.
I got you.
Or like a Chip Kelly or what have you. You could end up being made into a NFL head coach within 1 to 2 years just by being with this offense. So now the Buccaneers have gone from Dave Canales was kind of like a person that they had no choice. From what I've heard, I don't know if this is true. From what I've heard was they didn't have a lot of choice to pick from. So Dave Canales was the best thing that they had out of the choice. The same thing was kind of said with Liam Cohen. The biggest thing about Liam Cohen was the priors that he had with Baker Mayfield that really set him off the map, right? Because he was just some guy who coached a little bit in LA and then predominantly has been in college football. So
I heard some shit about Liam Cohen. So one of my project managers, and I'll get him on the show if you guys don't believe me. One of the project managers was an offensive lineman for the University of Maine when Liam Cohen was coaching over there. I heard some shit about Liam Cohen, and I kind of brushed it off because he was doing. We tend to do those things. Like when somebody's doing well, you kind of brush those things off, and now you look back and you're kind of like, oh wow, yeah, okay, I can see that.
That makes sense now. Shit, I didn't think of that.
That makes sense. One thing, I mean, I'm not going to get into like the personal aspect because that's not my place to say. uh, some of the things he was doing there, but one of the things he did say was he was a huge fucking prick that didn't listen to and I hate doing this because I don't want to because I know how the internet is. People are gonna be like, oh, who was it that was saying that, and I don't want to do that. But he was my project manager, and so this day he says, hey, he's an awesome coach, but he's just one thing he did say was inconsistency. And how are you guys feeling about the move? I mean, I know it's kind of old news, but I mean, I've been busy with the family stuff. How are you guys feeling about how he handled the situation?
I mean, the Bucs are handling it. I like that they're handling it in a way where it's like, okay, he's gone. Fuck him. We're on to
Business
business.
as usual.
They
I think
have,
that kind of echoes a little bit of Coach Bowles as well, though. I think he was like, "Well, we're on to the next. Let's get on. Like, we can't fucking dwell on this shit. Let's move the fuck on.
yes,
Yeah.
That's all we
and,
can do, right?"
and yeah,
But yeah, he didn't handle it very well. This whole story about the child and all that stuff that makes me feel a little bit sick because if I'm honest, it's like if your child was genuinely ill, you wouldn't have gone anywhere. You would have just stayed with your child and went, guys, just leave me the fuck alone. Dealing with a sick kid. Don't give a fuck right now. I'll get back to both of you. Oh, by the way, I'm chatting with them again. I'll deal with both of you when this is all fucking done. But his child was ill, but he
Yeah, he
was
did
able
say
to
that at the
go away.
beginning.
He was able to go away for an interview, so it obviously wasn't that bad. It was obviously manageable by his wife, who then had to come out on the internet going, "Oh, his character's been assassinated." Well, it's been assassinated because you're claiming that his son's ill. And no, I'm not even doubting that the child is ill. I'm not even doubting that. But it was obviously the child was well enough that he could leave said child and go away to Jacksonville.
Right.
He was basically saying, I'm so busy with my ill kid, I can't go sign a contract, but I can then go on a fucking chartered flight to a different part of the state and
yep.
interview them. That's
That's
the problem I think we
that,
all have and go, oh, that's a bit shady, dude. That's
that's
a
Yeah,
bit
no, I
fucked up.
mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because, like I said, he's from Warwick, Rhode Island, and I was just like, oh, that's such a fucking northeast thing to do. But in all reality, I'm not even mad because at the end of the day, this is the way I look at it. Like, I think sometimes people kind of take this. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little upset. I was like, "Fuck, man! You know this is." And you guys, I'm not gonna lie. You guys know. There was times where I was upset with Bulls, and I was like, "Hey, if they're gonna get rid of Bulls, I'm like, this is a guy you can really build. You know, you can make him the coach of the team. Like he's got that. He's got that credibility with me. I'm not saying that he's a
And
bad.
he would have been paired with a GM who knows what the fuck he's doing
Yes,
rather than he's
exactly.
got Jacksonville, he's going to get given a fucking GM who might not know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
Straight up could
So
happen.
that's why I'm just like I'm not mad at what he did because at the end of the day, it's no different than you AJ, you Coach Slick. Like if somebody, I don't know what you guys make at your jobs, but if somebody triples what you're gonna make, I'm not saying you're gonna handle it in that way, but
I definitely wouldn't use my child as being ill
yeah,
as an excuse, but I definitely would turn around and go,
I'm
look,
not.
I'm being
Yeah,
courted for this job. I'd be upfront about it. I'd be like, look, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. I want to explore this option because the
yeah,
Buccaneers weren't going anywhere. It's not like they were the phrase. I think Adam Schefter said that he felt like his camp felt like they were being strong-armed.
which I think is
Strong-armed.
dog
How
shit.
the
yeah. But
fuck are you
I don't really
strong-arming
buy in too
anybody? He had
much.
every piece of leverage in
Yeah.
that situation. There's no way they turn around and, well, if you don't sign this contract, we'll go find another OC.
Who
They
was
ain't
it? Was it
going nowhere.
was it Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport? One of
It
the two.
was
They couldn't even.
Shefty.
Oh well, one of them couldn't even spell his name right. So
Well,
that's why
the,
I'm
the
just.
thing is, it's like this. I'll say this, Louis. If my job is hiring me, like offering me more money as well, and putting me at a much higher like position, you also gotta evaluate that other job. Just because they offer more money ain't always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
What if your job that you have right now, you're gonna have health benefits, a 401k,
Not
insurance,
every the grass isn't always greener. It's an
right?
old
But
ass
that job
phrase.
that other job, they don't provide you none of that shit. So let's say you're on your job right now, Slick or Louis, you're making 100K, but and benefits and all that shit, and they want to say we're going to give you 125, and you can't talk to the competition, but the competition says we'll pay you 165, but they don't have the insurances, and and they don't have bonuses. You just get 165 flat.
They
You
don't
see,
have the resources that you know that the other team's got. You went
they
there and
don't
you
have
went, oh, the machinery seems a bit busted. The fucking
right,
coaching
and
team
the
doesn't
What
work
coaching
happened?
properly. The
What
cafeteria
was he
sucks.
making? What was he making with the Bucks? What were they
they were
offering
gonna
We
him?
give
don't
him
know.
four.
We,
No, they said something around
the
48.
highest paid coordinator in football.
Yeah,
That's all we know.
So
yep,
was it
That's all I know
four
anyway.
point five?
probably. But again,
And what did he get? 10?
10
I
to
think
13.
10 to
10 to
13.
13. Then there's no contract details, right? They won't release that until like later on in the season, right?
But even
And
with
they don't
that,
tend to do it for OCs and DCs because
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, so like it's kind of like I don't know, like when you guys listen to sports talk radio, oh, so and so got fired, they fired this coach, you know, you kind of feel bad. Listen, I don't feel bad for these dudes, and this is why I say
nope.
this. Because these motherfuckers, at the end of the day, like I don't feel bad when football players get cut. I don't feel bad, and this is probably the asshole the mass hole coming out of me. I don't fucking feel bad for when coaches get fired. You want to know why? The reason why I don't feel bad for when coaches get, oh well, they have to relocate their family. I don't give a fuck. They're making millions upon millions of dollars.
yes,
I
and they're
could
still
give two
getting
fucks.
paid.
You can suck it, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Hey,
don't
if
fucking
you want to keep your roots down and where you are,
yeah. Like
coach high
here's
school
my thing.
football, coach high school football. You'll make a nice,
Yeah.
easy living as a head coach of a good football, a head coach job in a high school football. Your children can grow up in the exact same space for the whole
Yeah,
fucking
like,
time.
and
You'll
then on
probably be
top
there
of
for
it,
10 years if you're that good of a
yeah,
coach, right?
and then on top of it, you got millions of dollars. So a lot of people don't understand when these coaches get fired. AJ, let me ask you one question. If you were to get fired from your job or laid off from your job, are they gonna pay you the rest of the year?
Nope. And I'm
Coach
glad you
Slick,
said that.
Coach
They
Slick,
Nope.
still
No, no,
are
no,
you
no,
gonna
they ain't
get
paying me
paid?
nothing.
they
Are you
still got
getting
to
paid
get
for the rest of the year?
Nope.
no.
So I'm in a union, right? So I'm in a laborers union. I do construction. I build infrastructure. I do gas, water, electric, sewer, whatever, the whole nine, right? So if a company decides not to take on my services anymore, they lay me off. So I make half of what I make. So does anybody feel bad for me?
They're not
No.
going to. No.
Is anybody gonna fucking call in a radio station and say, why did Louis get laid off? And da da da. This is why, like I said, I could give two fucks if these coaches get fired. I could give two fucks if these players get cut. These dudes are making millions upon millions of dollars. So going back to Liam Cohen, I could give two fucks. Like I said, he left the Buccaneers, and like so she don't tell her this. She's not listening. But my girl, I refer to her as baby mama. When she comes on the show, that's her identity, baby mama. So she's going to be jumping on around the NFL to give her 2 cents about the Liam Cohen situation. She's actually more upset about it than I am. And she's not even a Bucks fan. She's a Patriots fan. And I don't give her shit for that. I've been trying to convince her to come on over to the pewter and red side for a long time now. She's a big fan of Mike Evans. So I'm trying to slowly introduce her to the pewter and red. But she's just like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, he ended up leaving. Da 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 da. He went, and I told her the whole story. She's like, fuck that motherfucker. We're a family. Da, da, and all this bullshit. And I'm just like, Barbie, chill. I'm like, it's okay. Like he went to go fucking find more money, and then she kept on like saying, no, fuck that. Like when you say you're gonna do something, you're part of that family, this and that. Like you're
Totally
part of
agree.
the family. So that's where I'm just kind of like, one half of me is just kind of like, you know what, fuck that dude. Uh, the other half is kind of like, you know what, whatever, he got paid. But I can kind of understand where she's coming from too, like, because at the end of the day, this is what kind of aggravates me. Is just that he from what I've seen in reports is that he sent out text messages to everybody on the offense and said, "Hey, I'm staying." And then he went and did that shit. I don't think we're gonna play him this year because we have the AFC East, but I'm sure we'll see him in the preseason and it won't mean much. But what I'm trying to say is I see a lot of Buck fans very heavily invested into this. Man, don't be invested into this bullshit because at the end of the day, he's gonna go make $13 million. Like, who gives a fuck? We just have to continue doing what we do. And what's that? Running the NFC South.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
again,
Anybody that comes through here, it's plug
yeah.
and play.
Well, yeah.
It's a fucking offensive coordinator, a future. Let me say this. Like I said about Todd Bowles, um, it's the offense coming here to coach this offense is a wet dream. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. You got Mike, you got Chris, you got Jalen, you have this tight end, the tight end rotation, you have the running back rotation, you have this offensive line, you have Baker Mayfield. Same thing with the defense. When I say Max Crosby coming to the Buccaneers, that's Todd Bowles' wet dream. All right. This team is here to run the NFC South. That's why when I see all the Buck fans out there continuously with the fucking fuck this guy, fuck him, fuck that, man. Why are we wasting our energy on him? Well, I'm telling you, it's gonna
The
be
only thing we
plug
can
and
waste
play.
our energy on right now.
Yeah, man. But what I'm saying is, I'm just trying to bring enlightenment to the situation.
No,
Like,
I get you. I get you.
we like it's all over the place, and I get it. Like, hey, the guy has so much potential. The guy is excellent. But at the end of the day, hear me out. Did we really want a snake running the football team?
Nope.
No, in
Exactly.
hindsight, he showed us for who he is, and
Thank you, AJ. Thank
we're
you.
we're gonna be fine. We just again at the end of the day, Bowles, the ball is still in your corner.
Hey,
So no matter
Canales left. Were we fine? Canales
what's up.
left. We were fine, right?
Oh yeah,
Canales.
no, this is fine, but we just want to make sure we Buck fans are just skeptic because you can't
I think
continue
it's the fact that I think if you go with the second year of this offense, would probably, I mean, it can always be wrong, but a second year offense usually tends to have more success than the first year offense, right? So even if we do hire a really great coordinator, the chances of him having the exact same success it isn't as high,
Not the same, right?
right? And I think that's where people are like, fuck, we if this guy would have stuck around, we really could be knocking on Super Bowl doors.
right. And
Whereas
now
doing it now, you might be saying, "Well, that's
you're a
a year
playoff
away
team.
at least."
Right. With a new coordinator, most experts will say, "Oh, they'll be a playoff team, but nothing else, nothing to see here."
It's
But if
learning
Cohen was here,
terminology all over again. It's a
yeah,
process.
that's all. That's all we're
Sure.
saying. But at the end of the day, yeah, if the Bucks get
And we
their
feel kind of cheated out of that moment, I suppose you could say,
that's
by
right.
Liam Cohen.
That's right. Oh, and a side note, and I just have to get this out here. I don't ever want to hear Jalen Hurts ever being put in the elite quarterback. I'm stamping this right here, guys. Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback. I said what I fucking said. I am
I
not
agree.
impressed. Watching Jalen Hurts today, I was in a waste lick. I was I was like, this is it. If it wasn't for Saquon Barkley in the run game and the being the aggressive defense, this would have been a tighter game.
Well, what do you think they
Jalen
hired him?
Hurts,
They knew they
Jalen
needed
Hurts,
it.
he didn't do
Nick
anything
Sirianni
special.
went, "Oh, I don't have the run game. Let me go and get the run game."
Let me ask you a question. Who do you guys got in the Super Bowl?
At this point, it's looking like if the Bills can win, I'm going for the
And
Bills.
then Bills are in front right now, aren't they?
Yep, they're in front right now. I'm watching that a little bit, but if the fucking Bills can go, I want them. Look, put it this way: we all want, like Thanos, we want the Chiefs to go down because I don't want to see this three-peat fuck shit. Because now it's, oh my god, he's better than Brady. No, the fuck he's not. I'm sick of these people. I
He's still
can't.
got a ways to go, but I would say he's building the case.
Yeah, he's
I
building
would
the
say
Building.
he's got
case.
ways to go, but he's building
I've
the
always
case.
said this at the barbershop. This has been like, I love the barbershop for the simple reason because like sports talk over there at the barbershop is king.
Yes.
So for many years, I said, until Brady can pass Montana, then he's the GOAT. He did that. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? That's why I say, until Mahomes can win 8 Super Bowls, then you're better than Brady. If
Yep.
you tie Brady, hey, you guys are equal. If you get
I
8,
know you put the three-peat and he ties Brady, I think he beats him.
um,
No one's done a three-peat before. No one's
well,
ever done that.
here's the problem. The problem is, and I hate doing this, but like, in all reality, between us as football realists, right? Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
as football realists. Let's talk as real Buck fans, like outside of like loving the team. If Antonio Brown never walked off the field against the Jets, and
Mm-hmm.
he went throughout the season, um, Tom Brady would have had an 8th Super Bowl.
Maybe. I don't.
I
Absolutely,
think
but
so.
it's
I
a
think
thing
so.
that you never know the answer. But if he gets a three-peat and he equalizes the exact same amount of Super Bowls, he has to go in front of him because no one's ever done a three-peat before. He broke NFL history.
What if
Yeah.
he does a 3P and he doesn't get the 7?
Oh, then that's done. If he gets a 3-peat, and
Then
never
it'll
gets
come
a
down to
7,
stats. It will come down to all the other little bits and
yeah,
pieces. How
yes,
many times has he failed in the big game? So let's say he goes to 4 more
I
Super
feel like
Bowls
it's
and then
comparing
fails.
Jordan to
The
LeBron.
failures, his Super Bowl failures will come into at the moment. He's only got the one.
yep,
If he has more Super Bowl failures, they will go against him as well. So there's
yep,
so many moving parts.
yep.
So,
It's just
I
in my
mean,
opinion. Anyway.
if you guys had to start a team right now with the first overall pick and you're on the clock, who you picking?
Between
Brady or
Mahomes.
Mahomes?
Brady,
I think if you're
I'll say
getting
this.
peak player for peak player, then it's Brady.
Yeah, and here's another great question. Which
But if
era
I'm
of
getting
football are we talking about?
if I'm getting Tom Brady from Michigan back in the day versus Mahomes back in the day, I'll probably go Mahomes.
The thing is, though, you got to which era are we talking about? Because I'll say this: from 2000, from 98 to 2010, I'm going with Brady hands fucking down.
Yeah, he played in that era and he knows how to play
I'll
that.
do one better. So again, for many, many years, the Buccaneer games were blacked out here in New England. So I
Yes.
couldn't watch anything. I was just basically iHeartRadio app and like or the 103, whatever it was, rock station. They would broadcast the Buck stations, the Buck games. But I watched a lot of Patriot football. The best Tom Brady I've ever seen. The best Tom Brady I've ever seen was after Deflategate, the fucking Screw You tour. When he
Yeah,
was
that
just
was
like,
good.
okay, he went on a fucking
Yeah.
he went
Mission.
on a fucking he went on a fucking rampage, dude.
But that's what
Like,
makes Brady great. Brady has ascended in every era. I don't think that Mahomes would ever
Oh no, I
ascend
don't.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
I
He
think he
played
can
in a,
in two.
handle.
in a
Brady played in
physical.
two different eras: a
Yeah, in a
physical era
physical era,
and
I
this
think
era.
Mahomes would get destroyed because
Yeah.
that little shit that he be doing like this. First things first, like you've seen it in the 90s and early
Oh,
2000s. If a quarterback did this, tried
he
to
was
do
getting
that,
broken.
he would get broken.
A lot of people don't understand the fucking shots that Brady took in the AFC East, like
Oh, yeah.
from the Bills. Like, and he, if anybody has a chance, go back and look at it.
Oh, I
Brady would
remember that
say,
hit.
"Oh, I'd get back up because I didn't want them to think I was a pussy." But
Yes,
he
he
goes
got
deep down
lit the
inside, that
fuck
shit would
up.
fucking hurt.
Well,
Think about it.
He didn't get the golden boy treatment realistically
Oh,
until after his 3 Super Bowls. During
yeah.
them 3 Super Bowl slick, Brady was getting fucked up. They were hitting
Oh
him.
yeah.
They
Oh
were
yeah.
laying the wood to him. Mahomes, it
Mostly the
doesn't
Bills.
have that it's and also toughness is a mentality, not
See,
just a physicality.
look what happens when you hit Mahomes now. When you barely touch him.
Oh god, yeah.
And he falls out of bounds like this. And
They
it's
got to
like,
go to the
my
fucking
God.
UN and fucking discuss if you're going to jail or not for those hits.
Well, I like
I
this.
think you stop all that shit if you flag him.
Yep, if you
They're
flag
not
him.
going to though. That's the
Or
problem.
you know,
But that's how you stop flopping, because otherwise other players will do it.
You know what? This may not sound popular to say, but you know who's worse of all? Josh Allen. He's a big flopper too. I don't care what anybody
well,
says.
I
I'll
think you
even.
know what?
Well,
I think
because the thing is, he tries to exude that he's the
He's
hard
strategic.
nosed dude.
Yes,
right.
he's strategic with his flops.
And
He's
I agree
strategic.
to a certain extent, Louis, because one, that motherfucker's too big to be doing that shit.
Yeah.
You a big ass dude and you be flopping like that. Fuck that. But another thing, Slick, that somebody said, because of the softness of the game, the elite safeties are dying. I like that. They
Imagine
said
Sean Taylor against Patrick Mahomes.
we don't have that. And
Oh
another
yeah. Those guys didn't have a Brian
Imagine Sean Taylor
Dawkins. They
coming
didn't
up on
have
a blitz against Mahomes.
Taylor. They didn't have your
He'd
fucking
be kicked
Lynches.
out of the game.
and
He'd be kicked out of the game.
put
Ejected.
it this way, and I said this to somebody because your boy, who's a Commanders fan, somebody in here said, "Oh, well, Jaden was a better rookie than Vic was." I said, totally two different eras of football. I said,
Yeah, that's two different
Jaden would have
eras.
gotten destroyed in the era of football that Vic was playing.
Well, Jaden Daniels has earned my respect. I mean, anybody who can beat the Buccaneers, like he can't. He went in, and who was it? Was it McCollum?
Yeah, but that's a corner. That's my thing. A corner did that. Imagine Ray Lewis.
Yeah, but Kalijah Cansey went at his knees too. Kalijah Cansey went at his knees.
That's what I'm saying. But
took his ass out.
Imagine those guys in the early 2000s hitting him.
Yeah, I mean,
you remember them days? Motherfuckers was getting hit in the head, and you could slam them. Warren Sapp grabbed the Baltimore Ravens running back when we played him in the Super Bowl year, lifted his ass up and put his weight on him, and that was not a penalty. That's why I say toughness is a mental thing as well, Slick. And you know this because there are a lot of guys. Again, this is how you shut Mahomes the fuck up. You got to have that one thug out there that goes, hey, hit him, you get a flag, we'll cover your fines and we'll pay for your suspensions. Because now you got to put
Boston
into
seems
his
to be that
brain
guy so far.
who?
I'm
To
curious.
him.
You know who I'd like to
Yeah.
see against Mahomes right now? Remember that era of Buck fans are gonna hate me for this. Remember the New Orleans Saints with the Bounty Gate?
Yeah, but the difference between them, they were
I'd like to see
cocksuckers because they
that
were
that team and
hurting. I don't want to
yeah.
hurt him. I just want to give him a football fuck
Nah,
up.
fuck
Like,
him. Fuck him. Fuck Taylor Swift. Fuck them all. And
yeah.
in the words of the Sopranos, fuck them, John. Fuck them all. Like
Mm-mm.
fuck them, dude. Like
Well,
I don't know.
I'm gonna.
Maybe it's a personal thing I have against Taylor Swift. I don't like her. I don't.
Yeah.
She's that fan base is like a cult following. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go down that rabbit hole because I don't
Well, I'm
want
gonna catch
Swifties to
this last
cancel me.
game, fellas. Then I gotta get myself. But I want to
Yeah,
ask you
same
the
here,
last
guys.
question.
It's about
I
2
want to
a.m.
ask.
for me, so
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself out of here. All I'll say is, I hope the Bucs within the next week and a half find their coordinator and they stick with it and they come up with a plan. They shouldn't take too long. Another week and a half, and this time they interview him for his character. For his character, where does your loyalty reside at? What do you like to do? Because now we can't hire snakes anymore. You got to hire someone who stands on business.
That's why I said Buck fans chill the fuck out. I get it, and I was one of them. I wanted Liam Cohen to stay, but you know what?
we'll do.
We don't need that personality. We don't need that type of shit in the locker room. The dude out of the passing game coordinator for the Rams, Nate. Shit, I can't say his last name. I don't want to butcher. I butchered Joe Tryon Shawinka's last name for years.
It's
The first
okay.
couple of years.
He butchered himself, so that makes
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
sense.
Well, that's a whole nother episode. All gas, no brakes. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I think they should definitely take a look at him. But eh, I just want somebody to come in here and continue and leave and like just improve a little bit from what we did this year because that's what you got to do. You can't be the same. You can't be stuck in one place. You got to progress. And I want to see somebody come in here and possibly be that guy that Cohen was supposed to be. Because in all reality, I think Todd Bowles is a decent human being, and I think Todd Bowles knows, hey, I don't have much time left. Maybe one more year. We don't know. We've seen crazier things like Bruce Arians. I didn't think he was going to step down the way he did. And maybe we might see the same thing with Todd Bowles this year because I know he has a kid that's playing in college and maybe he wants to see him play. I don't know. I don't know how that goes, but I just want to see them bring somebody in here. I don't want any more defensive coordinators as head coaches. I want to see an offensive mind, an
I don't
offensive
think
head.
you. I don't think you will. I think the next head coach will be an offensive one.
Yeah, it has to be
Mhm.
because these guys, it's tough to get offensive minded head coaches in here. I mean, offensive coordinators that are like, it's just because
Defensive
it's a
coordinators don't
revolving
get hired as
door.
much, so the chance of you losing a defensive
Exactly.
coordinator is much lower than it would be losing your offensive
Exactly.
coordinator. As soon as your offensive offense is humming, everyone goes, "Ooh, we'll
Yeah,
go and get that guy."
There it
exactly.
is.
It's a hot commodity, and a guy that just got hired. I don't know if it's official, but I think it's official. He got hired. Casey Rogers, the defensive. He's the. I think he was interviewing for the defensive coordinator position for the Packers. Casey
Yeah.
Rogers. He did a great job with the defensive line for the Buccaneers. Logan Hall, like they all did phenomenal this year.
Yeah, the D
You
line
know,
was good.
yeah, I think
Yep.
that was a huge blow for the Bucks. They have a lot of work to do, and
Yep.
it's going to be a very interesting and fun offseason. And I look forward to covering it with you guys and especially on my platform and other people as well. As Buck fans, I think we have a lot to be excited about. But I think this year we're facing a crossroads here because like the 49ers and like the Baltimore Ravens, the Bucks need to get on their A game because the window is closing. These are very short windows.
Yes, we
We
do.
short windows, and you got to make them fucking count. And that's why I love about the Buck fan base. We're all passionate. We all argue amongst each other, but you know what? We all have that one cause, like because we know that window's closing, man. I think it's just that we're traumatized from all those bad years, the Greg Schiano
Yeah,
years. Remember that?
I'm over it now.
We could be worse.
I'm over that shit, and we gonna win this. But I'm gonna be on out, y'all. Appreciate y'all, Buck fans out there. Check us out again. Bucks Report, the Aftermath 102.9, the game, Broad Street South Radio. Shout out to Louie and Slick. I'm about to finish this game and then get my black ass to bed because I need rest. Y'all take care. Fuck the Saints, and I hope the Chiefs lose. Y'all be easy, fellas.
You said fuck the Saints. The Saints are not even relevant anymore. Fuck
They're
the
not
Saints,
even
dude.
relevant
They're
anymore.
not even relevant. I mean, really, think about it. They're not relevant.
Nope, not anymore. We eliminated that shit. It's all done.
Yeah.
Where can we catch you up, brother? What you got going on?
So we got Around the NFL this Wednesday, 8:30. Every Wednesday at 8:30, we got Around the NFL. Dino, who is a personal good friend of mine, is also somebody that comes on the show. He's a diehard Commanders fan. I'm curious if you guys want to see. I'm curious to see what he has to say. Coming up this Wednesday, 8:30. Feel free to join the chat. Like we said, feel free to join the chat. We love fucking engaging with you guys. And also, I'm that dude that represents the Buccaneers and diehard Buck man. Fucking fire the cannons. Let's go Bucks. And also, you can catch me on whenever these guys want me on. And that's that, man. As always,
Awesome,
fuck the Saints. They're not relevant. So I guess we'll start saying, you know what? Fuck all that Saints shit. Fuck the Falcons. Let's go Bucks.
Catch you soon, brother.
Peace.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. Much appreciated. Anyone who's come on, Louis, you're a stud. Everyone, we are deep into Super Bowl week. It's coming up. It's not too far away now. We've got the Pro Bowl next week. All for the Buccaneers, and let's see what our Bucks can do in their coaching hires. Then we've got free agency, and then we're going into the draft and see what we get. We're gonna have draft galore. Everyone's mock drafting now, and we all think we know what we're doing, and we'll find out that half the guys that we pick don't get picked. So that's usually how it goes. It's all good fun. So for me, I'm back in full football mode. We're going into preseason with my team, the Sandwell Steelers. So we're getting prep ready for our Division 1 season. First practice was pretty good. Ready to rock and roll, man. I just want to get this shit going. As for everyone else who's joined today, AJ, you know I love you to pieces, so I'll see you Wednesday. Louis, we'll catch you when you want to join in, whenever you want to join in, and obviously you got his Frozen Pirate podcast, and of course Around the NFL. So go check him out. He's our dude. He is joining us big time here at Bucs Report. But that's the aftermath done. That's me done. It is 2:15 in the morning. I do need to get some sleep. I might finish the rest of this game off, and then I'm going to go sleep myself. All I can say is, Bucks on me, Bucks on free, 1, 2, 3, and fuck Liam Cohen.